seconds and counting.
Hey, what's good, guys? Clutch Senior Essam here, back in another video. And for today's video, I'm going to be talking about the Houston Texans. And the Houston Texans were recently linked with a trade for wide receiver Keenan Allen. And, ultimately, he ended up being traded to the Chicago Bears. He didn't really look too happy about that. In the press conference, kind of looked a little bit bummed out. Pretty obvious he didn't want to be there. Probably going to be with the rookie quarterback and Caleb Williams. Just a brand new team, all in all. So he probably wouldn't want to be there. But I think the biggest point is that the Houston Texans, they're looking for help. And Aaron Wilson put out a good tweet. He didn't say they're just looking for any help. Like they're not just like going out with the open mind. Like they're not targeting whoever's out there. They're looking for something in specific. And what does Keenan Allen have? He has that, I don't want to say smaller frame, but he has that slower stature but elite route running. A guy who's a master at getting open. A guy that would be perfect for a quarterback like C.J. Stroud, who's a ball placement specialist, able to put the ball really anywhere you want him to. And a Keenan Allen, I would have really loved him here in Houston. I think he would have been perfect. He would have really fit this offense. Slot right there in the slot. Tank Dell outside. Nico Collins outside. Keenan Allen in the slot. That would have been perfect. But, of course, that didn't end up happening, sadly. I actually kind of got bummed out about that. At first, I was like, whatever. He would have been cool, but whatever. But now that I started thinking about it a little bit more, he really would have helped this offense. I think he really would have helped CJ. He would have helped the offense. He would have helped Bobby Slow at game plan even. And he's just a veteran. He knows how to get open. He knows how to play. He's been in the league for, 8 years? 9 years maybe? I think he's like 31 right now. So probably like 8 or 9 years, something like that. But now Houston, they're looking next on the list. Who's the next really receiver or just weapon in general that they can target? Maybe in free agency, maybe like a Hunter Renfrow, who, I personally wouldn't be opposed to. He did have a 1,000-yard season, I think, it's either in 2020 or 2021. It was a couple years ago. He had 1,000 yards. But then since then, kind of been slow. He had like 300 yards the past couple years, 300 yards each in each season. But, you have to take in consideration. He had Jimmy Garoppolo and then a mixture of Aiden O'Connell and just a bunch of other quarterback carousel type of guys. So he didn't really have the true quarterback experience, and I think he's a pretty good player. Put him in the slot, very good route runner. Again, not the fastest, and it kind of fits the mold from what I would think Houston is looking for. Like, if Keenan Allen fit that mold pretty much perfect, if that was like the Houston Texans' number one target at receiver, then I feel like Hunter Renfrow, he kind of matches that mold. Kind of similar receivers. Obviously, Keenan Allen is 10 times the player that Hunter Renfrow is, but he's the style of player. Not the fastest, not the flashiest. He's not a true number one, but he can go in there. He can get those nitty-gritty yards. True route runner, very quarterback friendly, and a guy who knows how to get open, and that's what Hunter Renfrow is. And that could also be another option. I could see Nick Caserio liking him. Seems like a good guy. Seems like a good locker room fit. All of that. And now this next guy I'm gonna talk about, he's not the most he's not the most fan friendly. Not fan friendly. He's not the most wanted, I guess, by fans. And I kind of see it, but then at the same time, I feel like his play kind of makes up for it. And this player is Stefon Diggs. Now, before anybody comments anything, whatever, I don't want him, bad ego, bad character, whatever. Yeah, I understand that. Yes, he's kind of a locker room cancer at times. Yes, he is kind of a diva receiver. But he is still a top 10 NFL wide receiver. And he's not crazy old. I think he's 30 right now. A young 30, I think. So he's not going to turn 31 for a little while, actually. So, Stefon Diggs, I think he would fit that mold perfect as well. Very good route runner. Quarterback's best friend in the sense of getting open. Now, he may not always be the quarterback's best friend of always crying for the ball, crying he was open, this and that. But he's the quarterback's best friend in terms of getting open. That's one thing he really knows how to do, get open. That's what he's done his whole career in Minnesota and Buffalo. That's his main really attribute, getting open. And this probably doesn't mean anything. It is Antonio Brown at the end of the day, the CTE master, the CTE connoisseur, whatever you want to say. I don't even know how to say it, but Antonio Brown, he has like his own little sports, I guess, media outlet, and he's been putting out some good stuff recently. I can't even lie about that. He's been putting out some correct rumors. He called Justin Fields to the Steelers. He called it was some other one. I think it was Saquon Barkley to the Eagles and some other one. I don't know for sure, but he's been calling a few free agency kind of hits, and he's been pretty on par recently. I mean, I think he's like 5 for 5 as of late, and then he's tripled down on Stefon Diggs to the Texans. He's posted 3 times about it, all in the last couple of days, on his little media outlet page. I guess it's called CTE SPN. I mean, obviously, you really can't take that. I probably sound kind of dumb talking about it right now, but I mean, I don't think you can just take it with a grain of salt. It has to have some type of validity. And I mean, CJ Stroud and Stefon Diggs, they became friends during the Pro Bowl. They were talking a lot. Just pretty much talking a lot, throwing the ball to each other. And then Tank Dell and Stefon Diggs are really good friends as well. And I mean, I don't know. I just think he would be a really, really good fit in the offense. Now, when you talk about the money, the contract, and all of that, I'm not sure exactly how that fits. I know Texans Cap, he recently posted something on Twitter couple days, or today or yesterday actually, something about how his contract, how if the Bills were to trade him, they would go down in cap by like $28 million. So it's not smart for the Bills to trade him until post June 1st. So if there is a trade in the works, we could see it possibly post June 1st. I don't think we would see it now. Or like before the draft or anything like that. It would probably be post draft leading into training camp. And I mean, it would be okay. You could just go into the draft. You don't really have to focus on wide receiver. I mean, you could just go get your defensive tackle, either your linebacker, cornerback, or whatever DeMeco Ryans really wants, and you can focus on receiver when post June 1st for Stefon Diggs, if that's what you're looking for. Now, Nick Caserio, and when you look at Nick Caserio and DeMeco Ryans, Stefon Diggs really doesn't fit their mold and their type of character that they want. They're trying to build a good locker room, a commodity, a locker room that's full of just good hard workers that really aren't divas. And I mean, when you look at the locker room, there's really none of that. Everybody plays for each other. Everybody fights for each other. And that's exactly what the locker room is right now. Stefon Diggs, I'm not sure he would really fit that. Now, I'm sure a lot of the times the media likes to stew stuff up. But when you go on social media, Stefon Diggs, you really can see the way he acts sometimes. He acts kind of childish, but I think if he's on a team with CJ Stroud, he's a rookie. He's already way more mature right now than what it seems like in Stefon Diggs. I feel like he was put there with the rookie. I feel like CJ Stroud could get him in check. Just take him to church a couple times. I don't know. Something like that. Put duct tape on Stefon Diggs when he lands in Houston. I don't know. But make him stop acting so childlike. And I think he would be the number one fit for me. Stefon Diggs, I mean, he's had numerous 1,000-yarder seasons. He's a undisputed top 10 receiver. Years before, he was a top 5 wide receiver. I mean, I think he would be great for this offense. He wouldn't have to be forced to be the number one. There really wouldn't be a number one in this offense when you look at it. Tank Dell wouldn't have to be forced to be the number one. Nico Collins wouldn't have to be forced to be the number one. Stefon Diggs wouldn't have to be forced to be the number one. They would all three be a number one in their own respective rights. They're all great receivers. I mean, they're all, in my opinion, they would be a top. Each one of them is top 15. I mean, Stefon Diggs, he's top 10. Nico Collins, I think he's hitting close to that top 10 range. Same thing with Tank Dell. So add out those three together, I think that's a top 5 wide receiver core. Now, again, it would just have to be the contract stuff, the attitude and all of that. But in terms of the cost, I don't think it would cost that much. Maybe a 3rd-round pick. We saw Keenan Allen get traded for a 4th, and, I mean, they're kind of similar receivers. Maybe Stefon Diggs costs an extra round higher. I would do a 3rd-round pick for him, and I wouldn't blink. If it was, but that's what it costed right now, and I'm Nick Caserio, I think I would do it. I mean, just make him figure it out. Make Stefon Diggs figure it out off the field. Make him attend counselor stuff. I don't know what exactly is his problem. I don't think it's that bad as people like to say. It's definitely there, but people like to overdo it. Media likes to overdo it. So, yeah, I mean, that would be my number one option. But my second option, as I said a little bit ago, it was Hunter Renfrow. I think he would be a great addition, too. You wouldn't have to be forced to rely on him too much, either. He would be a number one slot receiver. I mean, he would be perfect. He would fit right in. Have him as a 3rd option. Have him in the slot. Noah Brown after him. John Mechie after him. And then Xavier Hutchinson, of course. And then Robert Woods. I mean, yet to be determined what we do with him. Maybe we cut him. Maybe we keep him. Who knows? But, yeah, Stefon Diggs and Hunter Renfrow, those are my 2 options right now. Now, when you look at other guys like Brandon Ayuk, T. Higgins, I just don't think those 2 make sense. And, I mean, y'all are probably going to be saying, oh, how does Stefon Diggs make sense? But those 2 don't make sense. The thing is, those 2 guys, they're probably going to cost maybe a 1st, but at least a 2nd. They're going to at least be a 2nd plus more. And when you look at Stefon Diggs, he would probably be like a late third round pick, maybe even a fourth. Who knows? Maybe Buffalo just wants to get rid of him. But when you look at those other guys, T. Higgins, he's still young. He's 25, 26, I think. He's going to go for at least a second round pick and probably a third round pick. I think they would probably want like a second and a third paired up. And then you would have to pay him at least $25 million a year. Stefon Diggs, he's already under a contract for the next, I think, 2 or 3 years. So you wouldn't really have to worry about that too much. And, I mean, Brandon Ayuk is the same thing. He's like 25, 26. He's going to want at least $25 million a year. And it's going to be the same situation. They're going to want at least a second and a third or something like that. And I just don't think that's the smartest thing to do. You're going to have to pay Nico Collins eventually. He's going to want probably like, $23 million a year maybe, at least. And then to pay Brandon Ayuk or T. Higgins another $25 million, it's just kind of dumb to me. Now, y'all are probably going to be saying, yeah, but Stefon Diggs, you're going to have to pay him too. It's not as much. I think Stefon Diggs, he's under contract for, I think, $18 million a year. He's probably going to want a pay increase soon because, I mean, that's what every player wants. But I think you get him for maybe $21 million a year. And then only like a third, fourth round pick. You don't have to be tied into him long term. His contract is going to be out of here by the time you have to pay C.J. Stroud. T. Higgins and Ayuk, they're going to be under contract by the time you have to pay C.J. Stroud. A $25 million receiver, or two $25 million receivers, with Nico Collins being one of them, and then either Ayuk or T. Higgins, and then C.J. Stroud, it don't make sense. But yeah.